plataforma de conhecimento que seja partilhada. As questões que colocou, e colocou bem, com sugestões muito concretas, elas foram em tempo certo tratadas pela ANAC. Eu explico como. A ANAC, no âmbito da operacionalização do Decreto Presidencial 96/23, por via do Departamento Ministerial dos Transportes, fez uma solicitação a todos os ministérios envolvidos para que indicassem os seus representantes. Ou seja, isto eu posso falar disso com propriedade porque eu estou diretamente envolvido. E o Ministério do Interior é um deles. Ou seja, a ANAC tem consciência de que não deve caminhar sozinha. E nós, para além disto, para efeitos deste workshop, nós também fizemos comunicação às várias entidades, e o Ministério do Interior é uma delas, para indicarem representantes para participarem da preparação, certo? E é bem provável que haja um representante do Ministério do Interior na comissão, não? Bom, agora não lhe consigo dizer, mas quero dizer que a ideia de estarmos a fazer uma coisa à parte está completamente fora de questão. Pelo contrário, a ANAC procura trazer todos para cima da mesa. As suas sugestões serão e são bem acolhidas, mas aqui posso garantir-lhe que a ANAC fez o seu papel e vai continuar a fazer. E por que é que eu digo que vai continuar a fazer? Eu gostei das sugestões que fez. E aqui eu faço um desafio direto. Estou aqui, sou membro do Conselho de Administração da ANAC, está aqui a Direção de Navegação Aérea. Nós podemos, quando tiver disponibilidade, quando a entidade que o superintende tiver disponibilidade, dar visibilidade àquilo que existe. E vamos começar com isso internamente e depois podemos trazer para fóruns como este. Mas, repito, reitero e que fique bem claro, a ANAC procurou a todo momento envolver todos os entes relevantes. Porque, repito, nós temos consciência de que não somos um órgão simplesmente de supervisão e regulação. Nós temos a responsabilidade de facilitar e estabelecer uma plataforma de conhecimento como essa, que nos seja comum e que garanta que possamos agir de forma integrada. Obrigado.
Muito obrigado, administrador. Vamos ganhar tempo. Está bem. O administrador orientou.
Não, é rápido. Só queria fazer um reparo minúsculo. Não referi em algum momento, se ficou assim parecido, que a ANAC foi o mentor ou que acabou por errar, né, nesse aspecto. Digo que o decreto está claro, as figuras foram criadas. Só que a minha sugestão é que não tivesse aí escrito representante do Ministério do Interior. E por isso é que eu referenciei a ideia do nosso colega aqui, o Mr. Mbaye, quando ele falava de pessoalizar as instituições, criar sistema. Se no decreto aparecesse a linha C, Sistema de Busca e Salvamento do Ministério do Interior, seria um sistema do Ministério do Interior, cujo está dentro da unidade de aviação, os bombeiros e tudo mais. Não uma única pessoa que responda pela comissão, mas sim um sistema que faz parte de uma comissão. Aí o que acontece? Quando o Ministério do Interior sentar para falar de busca e salvamento, um único representante vai aparecer na ANAC para falar sobre todos os outros integrantes do sistema. É essa a ideia.
Não, proposta bem acolhida, desculpa. Proposta bem acolhida. E eu aqui, de forma muito rápida e direta, vou dizer que, no meu entender, o que sugeriu está salvaguardado. Porque o facto de lá estar representante do Ministério do Interior, o que nós devemos entender, e aqui posso partilhar de forma muito concreta e direta, porque é importante perceber o racional por detrás do que está no decreto. É exatamente o que sugeriu. Porque o representante do Ministério do Interior terá aqui uma responsabilidade agregadora. Então, isto está salvaguardado. Era isso que eu queria dizer agora. Obrigado.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel Kandenge. We move on because there are two questions presented to one question for ANAC and two questions to the Navy and Air Force. If you can be quickly, you could do it quickly. They need. Can you repeat the? Okay, just a minute. Do it. Yeah.
A segunda secretaria, a primeira não.
Okay, what he's asking is, since ANAC is in charge of the CAA is the oversight body, do they have access to oversight the system which is providing search and rescue? It's as simple as that. And that is because the system military.
Let ANAC take care of this question. Okay.
Bem, relativamente, a questão foi colocada relativamente saber como é que a ANAC, enquanto instituição civil, supervisiona uma instituição militar. Tem ali duas questões que nós podemos pôr. A primeira é que existe um memorando de entendimento entre a ANAC e a Força Aérea. E tal como podem encontrar no IP de Angola, está lá que o Serviço de Busca e Salvamento é feito pela Força Aérea, sob coordenação da ENA, que é a prestadora dos serviços de navegação aérea. Daí este memorando cobre esta questão. Mas também nós temos a felicidade, apesar do país ser grande, mas temos relações muito próximas. Daí eu ouvi alguém ali a comentar, acho que foi quem fez a pergunta, de que estamos sentados par a par entre militares e civis. Esta é a nossa cultura, é a nossa forma de ser. Então isto facilita também de grande parte esta missão. Obrigado.
Thank you, Bernardino. I think we can close. We covered DRC. If your country was not located in the north of Angola, I wouldn't give you the floor, but
Thank you, Chair, for giving me the floor. Here, the idea, this point is very, very important. And I just want to share what we fought to be better practice on that matter of civil people to go to inspect military people. We fought like this. The chief of RCC, if it can be a major or a colonel, annually deliver a credential to inspector of SAR, permitting them to get in military installation for search and rescue supervision purpose. That is what we fought in our decree, the new decree. We are going to submit to the Prime Minister. Thank you.
thank you, DRC, for a contribution. Now I think we are really done. Kizia, please.
Actually, I wanted to comment on that because it's a very good question. And tomorrow you'll notice once we share the USAP program results, that is something that is ailing us as a region, that not only the military, but also other entities that are not within the civil aviation authorities jurisdiction, we normally notice that they encounter problems going to oversight those entities that provide the aviation service, but they are not directly under the Civil Aviation Act. And that is something that have also been seen through the civil military coordination, that there's need to look at your regulations again and see how your regulations support this kind of services and this kind of oversight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kizia. I think I would like to thank the panelists, and let's give the floor back to Aikeo for the break. It's just to announce the break.
Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, that was the first part of the panel, and thank you so much, gentlemen, for those informative discussions. It's now, as we prepare for the next set of panelists, we'll take a 5 minutes break. We call it a health break. Some people might want to go and just get the fresh air. Some people might want to take a walk. But please be back. Time is now 3 to... 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes. 5 minutes times 8 is where? 40 nautical miles away. So, please, we're just taking a short break. Let's be back on the hour. Time is now 3:03. So 7 minutes, we are back seated. We're just preparing. And the panelists, please make sure you are ready. That is DRC, Kenya, Cameroon.
I give people 5 minutes. Because if you tell them 10, they'll come after 15 minutes.
Time check 40. Sit down, please. Otherwise, we are going to end up with needing our tickers. Can we settle down, please? Can you settle down? Okay, fine. You take my 5 minutes, I take your 5 minutes. So if you want to leave at 4, you better sit down. Those who are outside, please join us. The panelists, please, where are the panelists? Okay, would like to ensure that you guys are ready. DRC, where are you? Okay, as they prepare themselves, I have an announcement. I have an announcement to make. Mildred circulated the list of participants. Excuse me, can we have some silence, please? Can we have one meeting? If you still have discussions, may I politely suggest you walk out, finish your discussion. Right here now we are in one other meeting. Okay. I have an announcement to make. Thank you so much. Mildred circulated a list of participants. So if you did not receive one, it means you are not in her list. That means you have not given her your details. We need you to verify the details on that list because, as I've been reminded, we need to give certificates. So if you want your certificate, you need to verify your details with Mildred, as well as if you don't have details, ensure you see her and put your details there. I say that again because the interpreters were not seated, and we need this to be announced. The interpreters, are you ready? Okay, please announce the same thing I've just said. Please take note that Mildred circulated the list of participants with your details, and she asked you to verify the details on that list. If you did not receive, it means you are not on that list. So please ensure that you come to see her. Mildred is the lady sitting there. And put your details there. And ensure you got your names right, your email right. Otherwise, you will not get the certificate at the end of the day, or it will go to somebody else. Thank you. Mr. Manuel, take over, please.
Okay, once again, good afternoon. Let's try to close with the last panel. And we are going to talk about, the term is experience of states on SAR matters. So we're gonna call Mr. Alfred Wagura from Kenya. Then I will call Mr. Patrick Bemba from Cameroon. Then from DRC, I will call Mr. Gaultier Madika. It's too early. Where is Mr. He ran, he ran away. Okay, so, okay, hope he is fine, whatever he's doing. But, okay, then, oh, he's there. Mr. Madika, please, take the floor. Yeah, the presenter is there. Okay, first of all, thank you very much for coming and share what you have has experience regarding SAR matters. I know Kenya is a huge country which have good experience in search and rescue services. I even remember that the first specialist that Angola had for in search and rescue were trained in Kenya. At that time it was EAS. I don't know if the school is still there or not. But, well, here you have an opportunity to share with us how are you handling all those issues regarding search and rescue. Thank you, Mr. Wagura. You have the floor.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'll present our system. And let me start by confirming that the East African School of Aviation is still there, and search and rescue training is still going on there. Okay, I'll start right away, and we'll have a look at how search and rescue is established in Kenya. The Kenya Search and Rescue Region, the Rescue Coordination Center, or centers, operations, and how coordination is executed, both internal and external. We will also look at preparatory activities, or what we may call preventive search and rescue, aspects of training and continual improvement, and challenges that we have. So, Search and Rescue Organization in Kenya is established under the Kenya Civil Aviation Act. And the Kenya Civil Aviation Act has a specific provision on aeronautical search and rescue coordination. We also have Kenya Maritime Authority Act for the maritime search and rescue coordination. And that is as far as coordination aspect is concerned. But we also have various government agencies that execute the service. They have various acts resident in their own mandate. For example, the National Police Service, in their act, search and rescue is a primary function. The National Defense Forces, they have search and rescue embedded in their act, and various other agencies have search and rescue. So that is how it's established, because as you can see, the search and rescue function, as we discussed right from yesterday, is a mandate of the state. It is a responsibility of the state itself. We have the way it's regulated. At aeronautical search and rescue, we have the Civil Aviation Aeronautical Search and Rescue Regulations, They guide how aeronautical search and rescue will be executed. And we also have the National Civil Aviation Committee on Search and Rescue, which comprises of representatives of all key search and rescue agencies. And this committee, when I say key agencies, we have about 12 key agencies that are critical to the provision of this service. The National Aeronautical and Maritime Search and Rescue Plan is the overall policy document that guides how search and rescue is executed in the country. It talks about the resources that are there, and is one document that unites maritime and aeronautical search and rescue. The maritime aspect they will have the plan further expounded under the maritime SAR plan, and aeronautical also will have the aspects of aeronautical expounded under the aeronautical search and rescue plan. That is how Nairobi Search and Rescue Region looks like. As you can see, it is not similar to the freight information region. Our freight information region gets to the 4 degrees north under that arrangement, but our search and rescue region is coincident with our political or geographical boundaries. We have both continental and maritime areas. And for that reason, that's why it's very important that we coordinate. If you look at our air routes, a good number of air routes cross the maritime area. So we make a lot of provisions for aeronautical cases in maritime areas. We'll see how we do that. All right, we have an aeronautical rescue coordination center. That is the Nairobi Rescue Coordination Center, located in Nairobi. We also have a maritime rescue coordination center in Mombasa, and this center is a regional maritime rescue coordination center taking care of a wide area. Most of the coast of Kenya, most of the coast of Somalia, all the way to the north, to the Horn of Africa. We have most of our airports that are providing air navigation services as rescue coordination centers, and several other major stations with National Police Service also playing a role of rescue sub-centers. Okay, that is our rescue coordination center in Nairobi, the aeronautical center. And the aeronautical center is properly equipped with capacity to handle 5 independent incidences consecutively. It's manned on a 24-hour basis with a staff of 10 senior air traffic controllers. It's fully equipped with SAR software. The SAR softwares we are using, probably some of you may know, a software called the SARMAP. SARMAP is a good software for management of SAR services, but we are also using IAMSA solutions. It's a new software in the market, more friendly in terms of the interface between the users and the system. But also, our Nairobi Rescue Coordination Center takes advantage of the several different tools that are available for free online, and some others that are, not very expensive to manage the aeronautical incidences that will result. Of course, we have a number of distress monitoring platforms. We are monitoring from the social media, the news organizations, the TVs. We are also monitoring from emails. And we also do in-flight monitoring. I think that is the one aspect that most centers have left it to air traffic services. But as it's guided, air traffic services are supposed to notify the rescue coordination centers of an in-flight emergency, and the rescue coordination center should start tracking, just as we were discussing about the DT, a small bit of that. So you start tracking using your resources. At the center, we have 2 tracking devices. We have the Flight Leader 24, the higher version of it. You track your aircraft from that, but we also use the surveillance systems. The air traffic surveillance systems, you will follow your flight, not for the purposes of control, but to ensure should anything in a eventuality, you're able to see the head of flight locations or as near as possible to reduce your search areas. How is our coordination handled? We have met with all the stakeholders. As many as 30 or 35, discussed with them and agreed on each and every stakeholder responsibility. That responsibility is documented in our search and rescue standard operating procedure. And with that, we distribute that document to various agencies. We make an online copy to them so that it is cascaded all the way to the operators, and that document guides how that will be taken care of. It has the communication policy and also the search and rescue exercises, how they will be conducted, because those are key to checking your system, the health of your system. We also ensure that we include in that document our search and rescue plan, so that as many agencies are aware of what is supposed to happen or what is provided. Sorry. Now, internal coordination, there are a number of levels. First of all, we can look at coordination when there is an incident, a search and rescue incident that may require mission coordination. So when that happens, we have clustered our agencies into 3 main clusters. And for the key agencies that they are properly equipped, we consider them the very primary agencies. We cluster them under cluster 1. And we notify on all incidences with a high probability of developing into a distress. That tells you that we are notifying them at the very initial stage of awareness. When Rescue Coordination Center becomes aware that there is an incident, even before we do a lot of investigation, these agencies are notified so that they can start preparing. That should there be need for a mission, they will be ready, they will be activated at a short notice. Cluster 2 agencies are more, but they also include all the cluster 1 agencies. And these will be notified on all incidences that have been confirmed as distress. When they are notified, they are required to scrabble or to mobilize, but await the dispatch. The tasking will be by the search mission coordinator, but they will be at the ready. They will be able to tell the Rescue Coordination Center, these are the assets that are available at that very moment, so that when the Rescue Coordination Center is ready to task, they know what area of assets are available to them and they can task them. Then cluster 3 are notified on a need basis when significant details are available. Which are these cluster 3? These are very specialized agencies. You have information of probably what was carried in that aircraft. Do you have radiological material in that aircraft? Do you have biological material? Do you have any harmful thing that would need to be handled by a specialized agency? When you have determined that, then you are likely to task a specialized agency. And there are a number of those agencies. You bring them into the picture, and you have to prepare them to mobilize. There are also cases where the aeronautical incident has happened in a proximate area, near the boundaries with other countries. It is at that time you would want to bring in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Immigrations Department, the Customs Department. Such agencies are notified when you have proper, significant details available to you. Now, coordination with internal agencies that don't have search and rescue as their primary mandate is guided by the SOP and the Memorandum of Understanding. Some agencies, we have done a Memorandum of Understanding that guides how we will cooperate and how their assets will be utilized for the purpose of mission coordination. In terms of our neighboring states, we are guided by both multilateral agreements and even bilateral agreements. For East African states that are neighboring the country, Uganda, Tanzania, and even South Sudan is now part of the East African community. Somalia is part of the East African community. Those are the ones that are immediately neighboring to Kenya. Search and rescue is guided by a multilateral search and rescue memorandum of understanding. And that memorandum of understanding keeps being renewed. It's clear. Once you join the community, you are sent also to the memorandum of understanding that has been crafted by the community. Ethiopia and Somalia, even before they joined, they have a direct MOU with Kenya on search and rescue. I think the only pending MOU for aeronautical purposes is with Seychelles, and we are still not in an empty area. We have an MOU with Seychelles that is more maritime, and perhaps that gives a little bit of the guide, and that is what we utilize for the time being before we sign an MOU with Seychelles. Now, I would like to give more weight to preparatory activities that are carried out by the Rescue Coordination Center. And I would like to refer participants to what IAMSA defines the Rescue Coordination Center to be, because then the Rescue Coordination Center gains some very important responsibility. And that responsibility is that the Rescue Coordination Center is a unit that is supposed to provide or to ensure the health of the search and rescue system. Before you even do any mission coordination, the Rescue Coordination Center should ensure the health of the search and rescue system. So that is a huge responsibility. And for us, quite a number of activities, what we call the preparatory activities or preventive search and rescue, are undertaken by the Rescue Coordination Center. This includes registration of emergency beacons. We register all emergency beacons, be they ELTs, EPUBs, PLBs. They are registered by the Rescue Coordination Center. Then we do mapping of contacts and resources. And this is a very important activity because other than just picking what has been set in the SAR plan, which could be done just in a sitting and be a desktop exercise, the Rescue Coordination Center meets each and every agency, has a discussion with that agency, agrees on the role of the agency, and makes sure that the agency is of the same understanding with the Rescue Coordination Center. This has a very immense benefit in our estimation because this is an activity we started doing like 5 years ago. Because when you're doing coordination, you're able to put the voice to a face. You are able to do more tangible coordination with the people you have had a meeting with. You meet the highest level of each organization, and that makes sure that the top management of the organizations you rely on for mission coordination understand the responsibility, give the benefits, or they give the support required to the executing, officer or personnel. So this has been very, very helpful, and especially when we have done this with our defense forces, the cooperation, coordination improved tremendously. We have an excellent working relationship, and it does not take so much of the bureaucracy. It's just a call, and you are able to get the services and the coordination going. Now, there is mapping of wreckages. Of course, you know that several wreckages littered in the long area could be a problem to your search, especially area search, because they are likely to be mistaken for the wreckage you are looking for. So we map them to ensure that you have all the details, and when you task an asset to undertake search, you'll be aware, you'll be able to caution them that in certain area we have tasked you, be careful, this is not the asset we are looking for. And it has happened on a number of occasions that if you mistake the wreckage you are looking for, a lot of time will be wasted. And time is of essence in search and rescue. So once you have mapped your wreckages that could be in different areas, then you will improve your search and coordination. Mapping of accident hotspots. Why do we do this? Of course, accidents happen in different areas, but there are those areas that are more likely to have incidences. Our mountain in Kenya, Mount Kenya, that whole area is a hotspot. Our Aberdare Regis is a hotspot. Our other parts of the country that we have mapped are hotspot. We have seen incidences, more than 3 or 4 incidences within the last 5 years. That is a hotspot. Why do we map them? Because we want to go to the ground as the RCC, prepare the people and the assets that are there and the personnel on, or create a lot of awareness as to how they should respond, just to make sure that we improve the response time should an incident happen. We make sure that they understand their responsibility, and they are on a more, they are more alert to such incidences, so that we can have a better chance of achieving a rescue. Then we also do distribution of droppable medical and survival kits. In some of those areas that when you task your search, assets, they may not, if it's a fixed wing, they may not make to land there. Even if it's a lottery asset, that platform will not manage to, land and do the rescue immediately. They may have established, they may have located the wreckage or the datum, but they will not be able to do much. So what we do is that we get droppable, or we acquire droppable medical and survival kits. So they will drop them just in case the people there have not been seriously injured, they will be able to undertake first aid. Some people may just be, in an area that it's very cold. We have blankets there. They will be able to cover themselves to avoid the biting cold. Some energy biscuits or the water. Those things that will help that person to survive a little more just before the help gets to the location and a rescue is executed. It's noted that a good number of the accident victims die not because of the initial incident. They will die because they got, they lost too much blood, or they are in very hostile conditions. So these droppables are very important. When you are tasking a such platform, they will carry these droppables with them. They will also have a medical doctor where it is appropriate, so that should they not be able to get to the site, they will drop those kits, and the kits will be able to help. Now, we also carry a lot of SAR awareness sessions for agencies and the public. And so far, within the last 4 years, we have been able to meet at least 5,000 of our rescue personnel on ground in different areas, in the national parks, in the shores of the lakes, and along our coastline. We meet them, we discuss with them, we give some basic education, what they are required to do, and once we agree, we do a lot of public awareness sessions with them. Then we do some multi-agency SAR training at the Rescue Coordination Center, what we could call the OJT. This has been very, very helpful because we bring together, especially all the personnel in Cluster 1. They are nominated by their agencies and they join together at the Rescue Coordination Center, and they train with the such mission coordinators. For a period of 3 weeks, they go through everything that is critical for a mission coordination to ensure that we have the same level of understanding when we execute the mission, and coordination is on the same platform. We are on the same page. And this has been very helpful. We do this also with the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center. They always have a representative, so that we actualize that coordination in the MOU. And we have found that to be very helpful. Maritime incidences are also related to Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center, and that makes sure that our coordination, when we have to respond to a maritime case, even if it's not aeronautical, as aeronautical we are able to help. When it is maritime responding to an aeronautical case, they will be able to provide the help required if it is in maritime areas. So a lot of agencies do that. We do that at least twice annually, and this has been working very well. We are now on cohort 12 since we started. Okay. Now, in terms of training, we have the mission coordinators. All the mission coordinators are senior air traffic controllers who have the training of such mission coordination. We have ensured that they are all trained on incident command. We found this to be very important following our search and rescue exercise, because they need to know what the incident command will be. We want them to understand jungle navigation. Because of the ground search parties, you don't want a search mission coordinator tasking a ground search and rescue unit and expecting them to reach a certain area within almost no time, So they do jungle navigation, and of course, a good number, more than half are now search and rescue, have done the search and rescue administration course. Continue improvement. We do regular internal audits, regulatory audits, and quality audits at RCC. At least annually, 3 audits in each area. We are also doing a lot of exercises from communication, desktop, partial, and full exercises. We have done last year a full SAR exercise targeting our proximate areas with our neighbors. We also do the multi-agency training. I already talked about that. We undertake proficiency and currency checks for some mission coordinators. At least once per year, each of the SAR mission coordinator will have to undertake a proficiency and a currency check. And then we have a service charter for SAR services that is on registration of beacons and also response to mission. Of course, we do have some challenges. We have quite a high number of false distress alerts. Of course, we are relying almost 90% on cost per SASAT for distress notification. So a lot of false distress alerts, and I think that was also mentioned elsewhere as one of the challenges. And of course, a number of unregistered beacons. And this is a challenge because a lot of time is wasted when you are trying to locate. We are trying to get the 24-hour contacts or to establish the cause of the incident. Thank you so much. Obrigado.
Thank you, Wagora. We move quickly to Mr. Madika. You can't see from there.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
Okay, it's okay. So, boa tarde to everybody. Thank you, Angola. I can't start my speech without thanking Angola for welcoming us here in this beautiful city of Luanda. We are feeling really at home. Thank you to ICAO. And I'm going to present this presentation on behalf of DRC and with the authorization of my director who validated this presentation. History and evolution of the Search and Rescue Organization in Democratic Republic of the Congo. Okay, the outline is there. We have an introduction, history and legal basis, evolution of the search and rescue services, the current SAR organization, our challenges, and some conclusions. So for the presentation, the objective of this presentation is for sharing the experience of DRC in search and rescue operations. In view of the vast national territory of DRC, we have a territory of about 2,345,410 square kilometers. We have many forests inside. We have a very big basin. We have wide lakes and a very long rivers. It means the need of search and rescue is really a problem. And after just the independence in 1960, in our country, the first document which regulated the search and rescue was the decree number 65/198. It was a decree which was governing the search and rescue operations. apart from the Chicago Convention. Now, in the second half of 60s and the first half of 70s, the Ministry of Defense had a central board for search and rescue studies and coordination. It was composed of mixed personnel from the Air Force, from the Naval Force, from the Civil Aeronautics, from Public Security, Civil Protection, and Health. The organizational charts of this operational structure revealed the preponderant role of the Air Force. However, a relevant provision of the decree provided that no major provision modifying the system could be done without prior consultation of all parties concerned. So, I must not be reading. I have to explain what is written there. Okay, over there you can see all entities involved in search and rescue. We have Coast, River, and Lake Guard, which became later Naval Force. We have also ONATRA. We have airlines inside there. All of them were together so as to help in search and rescue operations, as well as the National Police. So, I must not be reading. In 1972, they created RVA. RVA is our air navigation service provider. When they created that organization, they took the responsibility of providing search and rescue because they were managing ATS unit. It was very easy for them to know the position of aircraft every time, and once they have, but there were no official legal texts which permitted them to do so. It means normally the responsibility remained only at Air Force, but in practice, it was RVA who played a very big role since those periods. And we also, during that same period, we had, I can say, fatalities between Kinshasa and Brazzaville, because 3 of our aircraft were lost in Brazzaville side, and 1 of them were lost in our side. And that is what even pushed the people to sign the first search and rescue agreement of DRC. We signed it with Congo Brazzaville, and it also helped a lot. Our current organization is, I can say, something like, the nature avoid the void. It means if you don't do anything, the nature will organize itself to organize something. That is what we have today. We have signed a MOU with the military people to tell them to help, because they have means, they have people who can climb mountains and go in the water. We signed a memorandum so as each event of aviation, they could help us to search and rescue people. So our spoke is also under the Air Force services. Over there, we are also many entities inside, including the Civil Aviation Authority, which is overseeing that spoke through WhatsApp group. It means I really thank the genie, I don't know how they traduce that word, Sanchi White, had a very good idea of creating spoke through WhatsApp. I want really this meeting to use it as a recommendation. If we can ask to ICAO to standardize that application for us, it's going to be something good. Because it brought us a good solution for responding to ELT alerts from COSPAS SARSAT. That is the National Committee of Search and Rescue, composed of the DG of CAA, the Minister of Transport, Minister of Defense, and so on. Our intervention units are only based where we have military airports. If there is an occurrence, the commandant of Air Force send people from those bases. I think I have to present you our challenges. Wow, it doesn't go anymore. Wow, we have some challenges, lack of search and rescue agreement with neighboring states. We also have them 9, but so far we only have 1 search and rescue agreement. Apart from what Mr. Wagura was saying, as member of EAC, East African Community, we naturally must sign the regional search and rescue agreement. But so far, Congo hasn't signed it yet. Weak rates of sensitization of deciders, as that was the question I asked to Angola. How did they do to bring politician people with them so as to sign those decrees? We have still a small problem with that. Low frequency of organizing search and rescue exercises, and lack of fundings to support the best implementation of ICAO search and rescue standards contained in the Annex 12, etc. As a conclusion, DRC services in search and rescue services in DRC are rendered to civil aircraft in distress according to the provisions of the Article 25 of the Chicago Convention and its Annex 12. However, the National Search and Rescue Plan needs to be updated. We have some projects of decree which are given to the government so as to sign. Now, for search and rescue agreements, first of all, there is a big challenge that is faced by the civil aviation regarding the political environment in our country. You know, in the east part of DRC, there is some rebels who are operating with the support of Rwandan army. That is, it doesn't give a chance to the country to sign those agreements with neighbors. That is a very big challenge faced by the civil aviation in our region. Obrigado. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Madika. Now we go to Patrick Bemba.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present the Cameroon experience in aviation search and rescue. This is based on a strong civil-military cooperation in Cameroon. So in the Heartlands, we have an introduction, the organization, the rescue subcenter, the SAR events, coordination and cooperation, and the challenges and perspectives. So in terms of introduction, we can note that we have some SAR system requirement to have an effective organization. First is the optimum performance. because when there is an alert, we need to have rapid and efficient search and rescue services. It needs to be cost effective and it needs to be safe. And all of this, in the case of Cameroon, is seeked through a strong civil-military cooperation. So, as a nation, Cameroon had two major painful events. The first was the accident of the national airline, Cameroon Airlines, in 1995. And we also had the accident of Kenya Airways in 2007. So at that time, we didn't have a good organization. So it is after these events that we were really committed to put in place a search and rescue organization in Cameroon. Talking about the organization, geographically, the Cameroon territory is shared between two FIRs, the FIR of N'Djamena and the one of Brazzaville. And the search and rescue regions coincide with the FIRs. So the Cameroonian territory is divided between the search and rescue region of N'Djamena and the search and rescue region of Brazzaville. For the national SAR policy, it is defined by the Ministry of Transport through the Civil Aviation Authority with regard to the general organization and administration, and the Ministry of Defense through the Air Force for all the operational aspects. And a consultation between all the organizations and administration involved in the SAR service is ensured through a national SAR committee. Okay, now we talk about the rescue sub-center. As I thought, our search and rescue organization relies on a strong civil-military coordination and cooperation. And the Rescue Sub-Center is both a civil and military organization. It is under the Ministry of Transport through the Civil Aviation Authority for all administrative aspects. And it is under the Ministry of Defense through the Air Force for all operational aspects. And this is the organizational chart of the Rescue Sub-Center. So in the civilian part, we have the Civil Aviation Authority. And in the Civil Aviation Authority, it's under the Airspace Surveillance and Crisis Management Unit and the SAR service. From the military part, it's under the Air Force headquarters, the Operation Department, and the Planning Office. And in the Rescue Sub-Center, we have a director, and under the director, we have a head of training. And we have different teams with search and rescue mission coordinators. Okay. And in this coordination, the expenses, they have responsibilities about the expenses. The expenses borne by the Civil Aviation Authority are related to office supplies, the incentive for the rescue sub-center staff, as they work 24 hours, the training of the SAR personnel, and the fuel for the rescue sub-center vehicles. And the expenses that are under the responsibility of the Air Force, the acquisition and maintenance of SAR equipment, distress beacons, all the survival equipment, life jackets, etc., and all the expenses related to the participation in SAR operations. So all these are all the operational aspects. And the rescue sub-center is located at the Air Force Base in Yaoundé. It is operational since June 2012, and it is operational 24 hours and 7 days. So it is a permanent operation. It is the SAR point of contact of the COSPAS-SAT system. So all the distress alerts coming from the COSPAS-SAT system arrive in the rescue sub-center of Yaoundé. And the RSC staff is provided by the Ministry in charge of Defense. And currently, we have 17 search and rescue mission coordinators in the rescue sub-center. And all the RSC staff attended a SMC, SAR Mission Coordinator training course. Cameroon, we hosted 3 SMC training courses delivered by EAMAC, the School of ASECNA, the regional ANS provider. And these courses were relocated in Yaoundé to allow us to train the maximum of staff. And we had a session in 2012, 2015, and 2019. And since the last year, the Cameroon Civil Aviation Authority Training School has developed a SMC training course. So the first session took place last year in September. And we will continue to organize this session every year. And to date, the Cameroon Civil Aviation Authority has trained 43 personnel as SAR mission coordinators, including 27 militaries and 16 civilians. This is because we have many movements of personnel at the military side. So we train the maximum of people to make sure that we will always have enough SMC for the rescue sub-center. And in addition, we also have 4 personnel, civilian and military, that receive the qualification of SAR administrator and ICAO trainer plus instructors. And in the Annex 12, it is recommended that all the SAR personnel involved in radio communication should have a good level of English. So the Cameroon Civil Aviation Authority Training School has developed an English language proficiency test for SMC. Like we have English test for air traffic controllers, we also developed an English language proficiency test for the search and rescue mission coordinators. And the required levels are level 4 for the director of the rescue sub-center and the head of the training, and level 3 for the others operators. And we don't train only the personnel of the rescue sub-center. We also organize training courses for the Air Force crews to enhance their operational readiness. So the aim is that when the crews are sent for SAR operation, they should have the knowledge of all the methods and techniques for aerial siege, and they should be always ready for this kind of operations. So these are the pictures of these trainings. They also have first aid action training and the survival rules in SAR operations. There is also a training for SAR inspectors that has been developed to allow all the personnel involved in safety oversight to be trained. Talking about the exercises, communications exercise are organized every 3 months in the rescue sub-center. So they call all the contacts that they have in the emergency list to make sure that all these contacts are operational. We organized a coordination exercise last year in December, and we also organized 2 full-scale exercises. The first one was in 2013, and the second one in 2017. These are the picture of these exercises organized in 2013 and 2017. For the SAR assets, you can note that the Cameroon doesn't have specialized resources that are permanently assigned to SAR service. What we use are the assets belonging to military and civilian agencies, the army, gendarmerie, police, fire brigade, etc. So this, when there is a SAR operation, if these aircraft are available, they can be used for aircraft operation, but there are no specialized SAR resources. We also have rescue equipment in the rescue sub-center, like a rescue boat, lagable search, dry suit, etc., survival kits, life jackets, distress signals. All this rescue equipment is stocked in the rescue sub-center and can be given to the SAR units when they are going for SAR operations. Now the SAR events. Here we have the statistics of the distress alert by year and by origin since the beginning of the operation in the rescue sub-center from 2012 to 2023. And in yellow, we have distress alert coming from APRB, that are maritime beacons. In blue, is from ELT in the aircraft. Green from PLB, personal locator beacon, and in red is the others, like the ATS, the alerts from ATS or from by telephone from some witness. And you can notice that most of the alerts come from the maritime beacons. So there is a need for coordination with the maritime organization. And we had 3 real cases that were managed by the rescue sub-center. The first one was in June 2014 regarding a Cessna C-172. We made 70 hours and 20 minutes of aerial siege, and the wreckage was found after 9 months. This is because this area is is at a high altitude and is covered by the forest. So even when the aircraft were flying over the wreckage, they couldn't identify it. And there are some hunters that finally discovered the wreckage, that we can see them on the picture. And we can also notice that the ELT was disconnected. So that's the reason why we didn't have the distress alert from the COSPAS-ASAT system. The second was on August 2014 also, and the wreckage was found on Mount Cameroon, which is one of the highest mountain in Africa and even in the world. So that are the pictures of this aircraft. And even in the mountain, we also have the forest, and it was not easy for search and rescue operations. The most recent was in May 2022. It was a GRC 400 transporting the personnel of the oil transportation company that were going to the duty station. And the wreckage was found in the middle of the forest, and we had difficulty for coordination because there were many stakeholders and a big media coverage, requesting information and spreading fake news. So it was very difficult. And here also, you see the forest is like a green carpet. So even when you fly over the wreckage, you cannot easily find it. So this was found because we see there was a fire and smoke that allowed the SAR units to locate the wreckage. So that are the three main operations that were conducted by the Rescue Sub-Center. Now, talking about coordination and cooperation, we have 6 neighboring countries, and we already signed 4 SAR agreements with Congo, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, and Chad. Now the SAR agreements with Nigeria and Central African Republic have been already validated, and they are ready for the signature. And there is a working arrangement that is signed between the Mission Control Center, MCC of Las Palmas, and the Rescue Sub-Center of Yaoundé for the distribution and reception of COSPAS-ASAT distress alert data for search and rescue operation. This is because the Rescue Sub-Center of Yaoundé is in the service zone of the MCC of Las Palmas. And there are also MOU between the Rescue Sub-Center and the air traffic services provided in the country. Now the challenges, first is the geographical challenges. As we saw, we have some remote and rugged terrain and inhospitable areas like forests and mountains. The coordination with the rescue coordination centers, because we report to 2 rescue coordination centers in N'Djamena and Brazzaville, but these RCC are not operational, while the rescue sub-center is operational. The other one is the coordination with maritime organizations. The very slow regulatory process in our country, and the many false alerts that we receive at the rescue sub-center. Now talking about the short-term activities, we are currently on the construction of a new rescue sub-center because the current local is very narrow, and we have started the construction of a new rescue sub-center more suitable and equipped with modern facilities. So the building is almost ready, and we hope that by next year the new rescue sub-center will be effective. And we are also planning the second session of the SMC training course that will start the next week, and the organization of a full-scale SAR exercise in the third term of this year. So thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Patrick. Now we go for questions. And before I give the floor, the mic to the participants, I have one question for the three of you. In your opinion, can you say that your SAR regulations are adequate for the work you do? If not, what else would you like amended in it? That's question number one for all of you. Now, the following is for DRC. You have a very large mountainous and thick mountainous area. Which technology have you found useful in locating the crash site? Kenya. You have Mount Kilimanjaro with you, is it? No, the highest one is Kilimanjaro, no? Yeah, it's in Tanzania. Yeah, but from Nairobi you can see Mount Kilimanjaro, is it? Yeah, but it's okay. How have your states deal with the issue of training of military colleagues who form part of SAR team? This is for you, Kenya. And if we can just start with Patrick, because he was the last one talking, huh? So you can continue by answering the first question.
Okay, thank you, Manuel. So you asked if our SAR regulation is adequate.
Yes.
For the case of Cameroon, I will say no. Just as I said, we have a very slow regulatory process. So we have many of our regulation in draft that is not yet signed, and the texts that are already signed need to be updated. So we also prepared the new texts that are still waiting for the signature. So that's the problem that we have in our country. So the regulatory process is very slow, and most of our texts are still in draft, even the national SAR plan.
Thank you, Patrick. Madika, please.
Thank you, Chair, for this question. Our search and rescue regulation, in terms of it's a EC2 regulation. Yeah, it is the only domain in which search and rescue in DRC is correct. because in CC4 you can see our regulation has just copied what is in the Annex 11, Annex 12, please. For regulation, we are correct as the CA.
Thank you. Can you? Sorry.
For Kenya, we can say yes, regulations are adequate because our initial regulations came in force in 2018. We have had 2 chances to review those regulations, and the current review was on last week, actually. So we have been reviewing those regulations, you know, like about 2 times. So they are adequate. In terms of training for our military, who are part of the search and rescue team, we do undertake the initial training together. That is the SAR mission coordination. That training is undertaken together with the civil, military, and the police. Once they are done, we have gone further to start under the multi-agency training at the Rescue Coordination Center to undertake the OJT together. So yes, we are working in very much in tandem, and training is, you know, uniform. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask the second? It was mine. The second question.
Can you hold a little bit? Okay, go on.
Okay, thank you. For the second question, you were asking about the technology suitable for us to track aircrafts. I think so far we are using COSPA-SASAT ELT alerts because they are sending also position of the aircraft. They are sending also homing signal. And apart from that, I know that the Amendment 19 of Annex 12 will give us, it will bring mandatory the use of guards. I think with those 2 technologies, we are going to be able to face all search and rescue what need.
Thank you, Madika. And now the mics are open to the participants. Botswana.
Thank you very much, the facilitator. Thank you very much, Ikao. And thank you very much for the presentation of the team members. And thanks for the participants. My question will be directed to Kenya. It's a very good presentation, and I have to acknowledge that. The first question will be more like, I would like to know the agencies that you notify in case of cluster one agencies. And also the difference between the notification of cluster 1 agencies and the provision of alerting service by air traffic control. In cluster 1, you notify, there's a notification done by RCC to cluster 1. And also, there's also the provision of alerting service by air traffic control. So I would like to find out the difference between the 2. And the last one will be the provision of medical and survival kits. Who is responsible for maybe sourcing that, who is providing that maybe survival kits more like food and water? Thank you.
Okay, while Kenya is preparing for the answer, let's take one more question. Or, I see Angola, then Senegal. I can't see Angola, Senegal, then Angola. Yeah. So we start with Senegal. Then,
Donc, chers panélistes. La question va être pour les trois panélistes, mais aussi pour l'OACI, la représentante. Je voulais, en tant qu'État, que ce soit le Sénégal, que ce soit Kenya ou un autre pays, est-ce que vous ne passez pas en tant que aviation civile, ce serait bien que l'OACI vous aide en faisant sortir que ce soit des normes ou bien des pratiques commandées pour l'établissement de budgets dédiés à la recherche et au sauvetage. Parce que je crois que c'est l'un des défis qui ont été relevés à plusieurs fois de suite. Merci.
Merci, Sénégal.
So I'll try to speak in English, okay? I was saying that for those countries, maybe it's Kenya, it's Senegal, or whatever country, it is possible to tell to the ICAO, maybe to have some SARP, is that SARP? SARP or a recommendation about making in place funds or budget to have the possibility to really do action when we're talking about search and rescue. Because we know that if we want to be effective in search and rescue, we need to do training for our guys. We need maintenance of our equipment. So if it is possible to have that from ICAO. Thank you.
Thank you, Senegal. Angola. Wait.
Thank you. Once more time, it's Emergency Service of Angola. Since yesterday, we are listening about regional search and rescue intervention mission, but I didn't already hear about how many cases crash aircraft victims was successful rescue, and what condition do you find them in the local of incident?
Thank you, Angola, and aqui, olha.
Muito obrigada pela oportunidade. Eu sou a inspetora Tatiana Manuel Rodrigues Neto, da Inspeção Geral da Saúde, Ministério da Saúde, Angola. Tenho algumas questões a fazer. Primeiro, eu queria saber dos estados aí presentes. Eu queria saber dos estados aí presentes como é que funciona quanto à formação, se a formação é ministrada para todos os integrantes SAR e quais são as unidades, ou seja, aonde é que recebem as formações, se há uma troca de experiência entre os estados. E também queria saber se este projeto SAR, os técnicos envolvidos, recebem algum subsídio de risco, porque nós sabemos que essa atividade envolve risco para os integrantes. Então, eu queria saber se há algum subsídio de riscos. Eram só essas questões. Muito obrigada.
Angola.
Muito obrigado pela oportunidade. Eu sou o 1084-7900. Sou o major piloto aviador Aides Fragoso, Força Aérea Angolana. Quero dar os parabéns ao senhor Alfredo, ao senhor Mandic e ao senhor Patrick pela abordagem que fizeram. A minha pergunta vai para o senhor Alfredo, né, que falou sobre os desafios que tem concernente. Eu gostaria que voltasse a falar, fiquei bastante interessado no aspecto do desafio que têm, então gostaria que voltasse a falar mais sobre este desafio em mitigar o elevado número de falsos alertas. Portanto, vejo que quando há um falso alerta, né, diminui a rapidez de resposta na ação, né? Então, gostaria que voltasse a falar desses desafios, que é muito interessante. Obrigado.
Obrigado. Tem mais? I see none, so let's go and try to answer what have been asked. We start with Madika. Maybe I will propose, there are some questions which were directed to all the panelists. At this stage, I will ask if one of the panelists gives the answer, so there is no need for the following to, otherwise, unless he will add something or say something different. If we have the same idea, there is no need to reinforce the answer. So Madika, please.
So I choose only 2 questions about SARPs on budget of search and rescue. I think the better way to formulate something like a recommendation is through APIRG conclusions and decisions. Bringing such a question in search and rescue in the high level of SARPs, it is not an easy matter because it is not a technical aspect in aviation. As it is administrative or financial things, I don't think ICAO Council will permit it to become, to take the level of SARPs. How many accidents in the region? So maybe Madam Kezia will ask. Training done and the risk for SAR technical people. Yeah, normally those who are in, as search and rescue needs the combination of many skills, many professionals. Each one from his entity needs to have some training. And especially those who are going to intervene, they must know how to handle dangerous goods. For example, when they are coming near an aircraft after an accident, there are many, many risks they are exposed on. I think the training is concerning everybody, even politician people who are giving money, as you spoke about the budget. I submit.
Let's give the mic to Wagora so that he can answer Botswana and Senegal.
All right. SAR agencies are the cluster 1. We have looked at the capabilities and the asset base. That was one of the bases. So we have the Kenya Defense Forces, the National Police Service, the Kenya Wildlife Service, and Kenya Meteorological Department. All those agencies have been considered on a basis of their capabilities and also their location. For Kenya Wildlife Service, mostly they are the agencies located within our national parks and game parks. So any incident there, also they become the first to be notified. Kenya Meteorological Department, and somebody asked something about that yesterday. Meteorological is very, very important. Not only forecast weather, but past weather. what could have led to the crash and or influenced the crash. It aids in search and rescue. Current weather. It will be very, very helpful as you dispatch your search assets to make sure that they are going in an area that they are also, sure what is there, and also forecast weather as you do your planning. So the meteorological departments are very critical to provide that information in good time to ensure safety of the search parties. Cluster 1, I did not get this question very clearly. Cluster 1 and air traffic services. Maybe you can tell whether that was the focus, or you would like to clarify?
Yeah, I would like to. In an internal coordination, you notify the cluster 1 agencies that you have just mentioned. And I would like to know the difference between that notification and the provision of alerting services by air traffic control.
Okay, perfect. I get it now. The alerting services by air traffic control. It's done, first of all, to the Rescue Coordination Center. What we have done is to ensure that we wouldn't want the air traffic services, once they have notified the Rescue Coordination Center, to continue with the coordination of what will be a search and rescue case, or what is likely to develop into a search and rescue case. Other than a case that would end up in an aerodrome, which will be taken care of by the aerodrome emergency services, they would probably continue assuming that load. But the moment it is notified to the Rescue Coordination Center, the Rescue Coordination Center takes over, even if it's an in-flight emergency, to continue alerting those agencies of the likely area and all that. So, but what we have done to ensure that that is a smooth process, we have a coordination procedure agreed between Rescue Coordination Center and Air Traffic Services that details how that will be handled so that all is smooth. Now, on the other bit of medical and survival kits, who is responsible for acquisition of these kits? This is done by the Civil Aviation Authority under the Search and Rescue Unit. And the content of those kits is agreed and guided by the experts. Once we have agreed what is required for a survival kit, for a medical kit under the circumstances, then the Civil Aviation Authority acquires those kits. Once they are acquired, they are strategically distributed to various locations that you would dispatch your such assets from, and the people or the organizations that take care of these kits are trained and agreed. It's agreed on how they will be used and distributed. Let me go to the question on the budget by Senegal. Generally, budgets follow plans. So once as a search and rescue unit you have done your plans, you can be able to lobby for a budget. And what we do, if I can give a case as an example, we lay down the plans that of the activities we want to undertake for the whole year. As the coordination unit, we have detailed a lot of preventive search and rescue activities. Once we have seen the budget, we do it to our organization and it is provided. However, that is just as far as coordination is concerned. Execution of a mission, I don't think there is any single agency or government that can budget for that. That comes under contingency funds because it can be as expensive as it can be, or some will just resolve themselves as fast as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya. Yeah, there is one last thing that's the question came from emergency services. The question is related to the how many succeeds. Yeah, statistic of successful mission realized. Yeah. Rescue mission, yeah. So maybe if we can address it to Patrick. Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you, Manuel. What is exactly the question? I didn't well understood.
Okay. Angola Emergency Services, Medical Service, is asking for if you have a statistic related to the search and rescue missions which had a successful end. Yeah.
At the regional level.
Sorry?
At the regional level.
Well, you can just talk about Cameroon,
Okay.
then we're gonna see if Kenya and DRC can add some information.
Okay, yes. As I showed on the during my presentation, we have a statistical database of all the operations and alerts received in the rescue sub-center, so we can easily tell the number of alerts, the number of operations, the number of successful operations that we have at the national level. Thank you.
Let's give the mic. We pass the mic to Kenya. Probably they have an indicated number regarding statistic of a successful mission, sad mission that you had in your country.
All right. Are there successful missions? First, let me start by saying that yes, we do undertake statistics. We do analysis of all the incidences that come on a quarterly basis and supply that data to our regulator. And yes, we do have a number of successful missions where you will have an incident and through search and rescue, the people will be rescued. I can remember like within the last maybe 3 years or so, we have had like 7 or so successful missions where people were rescued to the hospital. Insofar as SAR is concerned, those other cases will be probably that when you go to the site, there was nobody to rescue. But in those cases that there were people to rescue, 5 of them or 7 of them were very successful. And, you know, it really is quite a success in SAR. Even if it's just one case, it's a success and it's worth it. Let me quickly also mention the last question that was asked by Angola on distress alert, the challenges. And the question was more towards the mitigations that we have taken. On Friday this week, the 14th, we had a workshop with our stakeholders that do the maintenance, the pilots, and the safety teams that do the registration of ALTs to try and mitigate the issue of false alerts. We had that as one of the areas using, we also came up with an AIC on emergency beacon management. That AIC is like, you know, like the technical guidance material for beacon management. And the AIC guides on how they will be managed, how they will be used to ensure that distress alerts are reduced. And in every individual case, which is determined as false, we talk to the people involved to make sure that they improve on that service. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya. I think we covered all the questions, and we can close the session. Thank you very much.
As we prepare for the photo, first of all, thank you very much. Somebody asked a question about ICO making a standard for you to fund. That cannot be a standard. But we have given you a standard that guides you of how to do it so that you can get funding. And that's Annex 12. Remember, it talks about maintenance and operation. So you need to develop a plan, and in a plan, when you develop a plan, you provide funding. If you establish an RCC, how will you operate it? You must fund it. So that's how it's done. Okay. I have a question, not only for the gentleman standing there, but also for the room. I wanted to take a photo, but stand in the middle. You walk, madam. Yes, that's better. My question is this. We've been talking about search and rescue. We've seen some very distressful pictures. And these ladies and gentlemen that work in the RCCs, no, I want them to keep quiet. Please listen to my question, because it's I would really like to have an answer to this question. Those ladies and gentlemen that work in the RCCs, and you have a distress call in, and you start the work. How do you take care of the human factor issues in terms of what you have to deal with? You started out only to be told that everybody is lost in that flight. Do you have any procedures to take care of the mental health? You're all quiet. Huh? Bright girl. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, I see a hand from Kenya. I see a hand from Namibia. I see a hand from Angola. So let's hear. Where's the mics, please, before we wind up? Thank you very much for willing to answer that question. How do we take care of the mental health of the people who deal on a daily basis with this kind of stress?
Okay. For Kenya, yes, we recognize that there is a challenge, especially once you have handled an incident, a distress incident. And we have a program under the critical incident stress management, and the teams within both the RCC and the air traffic services are trained on that. So the officers will undergo a session with somebody who is trained in critical incident stress management. And from there, the officer probably will be released for some time to get a way of recovering. Also, we try as much as possible to work in a team. Even if RCC is manned on a single person operation, the team in RCC deployed is empowered to do the virtual support. They have the tools and the gadgets. So all that the SMC on duty needs to do is to notify of the incident, and they just back that person who is at the RCC up. Thank you.
Thank you. Kenya brought something up, critical stress management. And yeah, that we probably don't have that at this very moment. The RCC is, I think, still growing. But we had an incident last month of an aircraft that crashed and everyone on board perished. We were fortunate that the organization really did consider the human factors effect on the staff that were involved, from the tower to the approach controllers and the center, as well as the personnel that came in to help. So I think within the hour we had a doctor as well as a psychologist attend to those guys before they were sent home. And they did get time off from work before they returned to their position. And it's something to consider from Kenya that not only the controllers or pilots involved, but as well as the staff doing the hard work of search and rescue, the human factor to also be considered. I submit.
Thank you. They've answered what you wanted to answer. Thank you very much. Why I brought that question is because of something Cameroon mentioned about vast media coverage. When the media covers a very disastrous event, they can skin you alive, even though you are doing the right work. And sometimes it's very stressful to the people who are working. But also, the fact that you were hoping, especially if you started the process when the pilot was still talking to you, after the Mayday call, and you're talking to this person and you're hoping that you are going to enable the process to be successful, as the colleague asked, that at the end of the day, even if it goes down, you'll be able to rescue the people, only to be told that nobody was rescued. You are still you're hearing the voice, okay? And you have to live with that. You need to be assisted. Whether you like it or not, you need to be assisted because it's very traumatizing. I'm talking out of experience, okay? And we have had a lot of successful, after Mayday calls, a lot of, somebody has gone down in the money to land on a road or in the game park or something, and you are able to send out the assets, and they are able to rescue the person or persons. And it's such a joy. But when you hear that the person you are talking to is no longer alive, it's very, very distressful. So search and rescue is beautiful, but we need to take care of the people who support it. Thank you very much. We come to the end of the day, and we start again tomorrow morning. And thank you for your patience. Have a nice evening.
Muito obrigado a todos. Terminamos a nossa sessão de hoje. Pedimos a todos que deixaram as viaturas estacionadas no Shopping Avenida para, junto do protocolo, fazer a substituição dos seus tickets. Temos aqui do meu lado esquerdo, do vosso lado direito do palco, temos aqui um lanchinho, para os que quiserem ficar para conversar e fazer um networking. Obrigado.
Recording stopped.